Radhe Bhakt Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for singing beautifully the prayers. Welcome, dear devotees. Today we're going to begin, as usually, read the stories about Guru Maharaj. If you would like to read today, please raise your hand so I can call you. The first story is called For Radhanath Swami, People Are Above Projects. Go ahead, please, Mataji Anjali.
Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Thank you. For Radhanath Swami, people are above projects. When the clock struck 9, my duties at school called me, but I ignored. Held captive by Radhanath Swami's oratory, I couldn't move from where I sat. As the audience that numbered in thousands drank in every word he spoke, Radhanath Swami launched into a call for revolution. With a voice pitched high in compassion, he declared, "We must perform our duties selflessly as a sacrifice in divine consciousness and in devotion to God for the betterment of humanity." Hearing that, my conscience whispered, continuing to hear this class despite the call for a sacred duty. Isn't that? Hare Krishna Mataji, kindly scroll up. That's selfish. Yes, perhaps it was. I quietly walked out of the lecture hall to attend to my duties. I worked as a construction engineer for the upcoming school building of the Gopal's Garden High School. Housed in rented apartment for years, the school was now shifting to this new structure. Being a project inspired by Radhanath Swami, the school aimed to provide quality education with utmost focus on building the character of its student, and that made every service connected to this project sacred, including mine. The students eagerly awaited the completion of the structure, and so did Radhanath Swami. Construction went full speed, demanding my presence on the site from early morning to late night. I worked even on weekends. Every morning I visited Radha Gopinath temple but came to the site much before the morning class at the temple even began. On weekends, however, since Radhana Swami gave the morning classes, I yearned to attend it. But midway through the discourse, guilty of insincerity, would push me out of the lecture hall. One day, Radhanath Swami visited our site, flanked by trustees of the project. He surveyed the building. Towards the end, to everyone's surprise, including mine, he broke out of the elites and walked towards me. Did he know me? So, do you work here? He asked. Yes. Do you work on weekends too? Yes, I have to. You will have to come here early every day except on weekends when I give classes. I felt a tingle climb up my spine. How did he know my heart? I was just one among us thousands that attended his class, and yet he knew of the ambivalence I was thrown into every weekend. Apart from my mysticism, that who was about this episode, I was deeply touched by the humanness of Radhanath Swami's personality. For him, people are way above projects. Our projects was on a deadline, but he ignored it to make my weekends happy. Siddheshwara Bhatt. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you so much for reading. Mataji Neetu.
Krishna,
Mataji Neetu.
Neetu Krishna Mataji. Radhanath Swami, the cow and the white ambassador. Wasn't that strange? A cow racing alongside our speeding car at the dangerously close proximity. This happened as we traveled towards the Himalayan pilgrimage of Badrinath. 50 odd devotees had gone ahead by bus, and way behind were the four of us riding in a white ambassador with Radhanath Swami. Close to Agra, stretching out on either side of the road, was a village with fields, little shops, and thatched houses. Our vehicle was the lone occupant of the muddy highways as far as the eyes could strain, until a cow appeared from the nearby fields. Strangely, this humblest of animals seemed to hold a lofty ambition of racing ahead our speeding automobile. Our chauffeur panicked, for even a gentle sidewise brush of the car could prove a fatal blow on a gentle body. He raced faster until her four legs were no match to his four wheels. Relieved, all in the car sighed in unison, except for Radhanath Swami. For him, relief was still afar, and he wouldn't find it until he knew why that cow behaved abnormally. Was she in distress? Could he be of any help to her? Upon Radhanath Swami's request, we stopped to inquire from the locals. One man related the cow's sad tale. Ba- Sometimes back, a white ambassador had knocked down her little calf, and ever since the cow behaved in this strange way whenever a white ambassador passed by. Tears filled Radhanath Swami's eyes as he visibly fought a battle to hold them from an outpour. Words fail me. How he shared the distress of that cow, kneeling down, pressing his cheek against her cheek, rubbing his hands against her soft neck. They shared their feelings through an unknown language, the language of love, and time stood still to watch them converse. After a while, we all knew we had to leave. We boarded our car and sped ahead, as the cow looked on until we disappeared from his sight. Today, she had finally won the race. A white ambassador had finally stopped to console her. Vishakha Priya.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for reading, Mataji. Such a huge heart our Guru Maharaj has. Such a compassionate heart. Mataji Nilema.
Hare Krishna,
Please.
Matajis and Prabhujis, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Gurudev. Radhanath Swami's warning. I was rummaging through the car's interior for prasad, sanctified food, frantically. Meanwhile, the street urchin who stood outside in the blazing sun. Mataji, can you scroll little up? Blazing sun grew in desperation and began to gesticulate wildly. He wanted prasad. He was convinced we Hare Krishnas carried it wherever we travelled. If not for the car's glass window that separated us, he would have surely shown me to accentuate his demand. I waited for the traffic lights to turn green, to zoom off. He hoped it remained red till he got his prasad. After a while, he darted to the car's window on the opposite side where Radhanath Swami sat. As he thumped on the glass, Radhanath Swami glowered at me. Garud, where is the prasad? I fretted. No prasad today, I mumbled. I had seriously. Oh Krishna. Mataji, little scroll up, no? I had seriously erred in not carrying any today. Radhanath Swami's standing instruction was that the temple chafers always carry prasad, usually cookies for the beggars at the stoplights. He knew the beggars loved it. Radhanath Swami turned to the rear seat where the monk sat. Does anyone have any prasad? Bags were searched in the silence that followed until horns blared from the vehicles behind. The signal was green and we had to move. As we lost sight of the boy's disappointed face amidst the Mumbai traffic, Radhanath Swami turned to me. The compassion he felt for that boy was now a fury. He spelled out, "The next time when we travel, if you don't carry any prasad, I shall take off your shirt and trousers and give it away to the poor beggars." I was mortified, and seeing that, he quickly laughed to make me feel better. I laughed along, not knowing what else to do. A voice whispered from behind, "Did you follow what he told just now?" It was Monk from the rear seat. He was shocked. I was laughed after such a serious warning. Of course, he didn't know I was sweating inside, and that the sweat glued my shirt and trousers tightly to my body. After we reached the destination, I apologized to Radhanath Swami. With a loving smile that endeared him to me, he affectionately knocked on my forehead, indicating that he had forgiven me.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much for reading. Now we're going to move to our book called Evolve. I just, I wanted to ask you, dear devotees, what do you keep in your bag as an offering for homeless people, like here in America, if you live in America? Because I noticed that cookies, something sweet doesn't always work. So it might work the first time, but second time it might not work for everybody. They might, want something else, or at least something savory. So do you have any ideas, or what do you practically do? If you could share, I would
Mataji,
appreciate.
Mataji, actually, I'll keep fruits in the car. Um, Whenever if someone comes to ask for $1 actually to help at the traffic signal, I'll show the fruit. If he ready to accept it, it's okay. If he will say like no, then I force them like okay. That's what I usually do, Mataji.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, because yeah, thank you so much for an idea. And dear devotees, if you are preparing something uh, different, please share. I would be happy to hear your ideas.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I also used to carry fruits, and one day when I was going to work, there was a homeless man sleeping on the sidewalk. He was very old, and he can't even walk around or do anything. He was just laying there on the street, and I felt so sorry for him, and I gave him the fruits, and he very gratefully accepted them. And I'm like, okay, at least I was able to give him some Krishna Prasad. And yeah, and afterwards also I saw him a couple times and I gave him fruits.
I assume things like bananas, tangerines, yes, apples, that's something that don't go bad very quickly, yes, or something firm, yes.
I like apples and other fruits. Bananas
Oranges.
also I carry, but mostly apples that would stay longer. So
Many times when I distribute cookies in parks, when I do kirtan, I also have fruits with me because some people say we don't eat sugar and things like this. So fruits is also a good option in these cases. Uh, in all cases, fruits good to have. Kind of healthy snack, something that you don't really have to prepare. Just offer to Krishna. Thank you so much, just for your ideas. Siddharth Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Go ahead, please, Prabhu. You muted yourself again.
Selfless love. The path of devotion teaches us the simple principle that we are all individual divine, eternal unites who are eternally connected to the supreme absolute truth. And we are all meant to serve the absolute truth. And in doing so, we serve each other. We create real harmony because we have a common purpose. The real world is where everyone is selfless, where everyone loves. Real love is without a tinge of selfishness. Real love is based on truth, the selfless expression to please God, to be compassionate to all living beings. The spiritual world is a place of eternal happiness. It's a gigantic, unlimited family where everyone is there for each other, where everyone loves each other, and everyone can do anything and everything for each other. Why? Because we see everyone in relation to the center, to God. That is home. The soul is from that place. The soul is of that place. To to take the soul out of that land of selfless love and devotion, where God is in the center, is like throwing a fish on the sand, and that's where we are now, on the sand of the shore of material existence. That spiritual world, although far beyond the material existence, is present within the heart of every living being today, right now. Real happiness is within. Real intelligence is to understand that, to be illuminated within, to rejoice within. That's where the ocean is, which is so deep in satisfaction that anything that happens on this external, superficial world doesn't really matter so much. We try to do, we try to deal with it, but it cannot change our fulfillment and our integrity. There is there is this external world. Superior to the external world is the body. Higher than the body is the senses. Higher than the senses is the mind. Higher than the mind is the intelligence. And higher than the intelligence is the Atma, the conscious force, our true identity. So, to find real fulfillment, we must uncover that essential nature of who we are. The peace formula.
Hare Krishna,
Gita
Prabhu.
explains.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for being with us. I see you for the first time here. Um, Puja Mataji, would you like to continue, please?
Yes, Nitish, thank you so much. The peace formula. Gita explains what the peace formula is. It is that the absolute truth is the proprietor of everything, the enjoyer of everything, and the best well wishing friend of every living being. If we simply understand and accept this, there is real peace because we find God within ourselves. We find that relationship, and therefore we are here for everyone. Because we are all connected, we all have the same source, and we are all related to that level. The greatest problem in this world is the lack of harmony. We can't artificially make harmony just by peace treaties. Real harmony has to be based on the truth, what we really have in common, and what our real connection to each other is. Then worry too can be utilized for the highest purpose. A person who is connected to the soul and is connected to God, who is finding that deep peace, fulfillment, and love within the worries about the other soul. That's compassion. That's higher than not worrying at all. Mother Yashoda worried for Krishna. Whenever demons attacked Vrindavan, all the cowherd boys, men and women, worried for Krishna. But that worry was an expression of divine love. Similarly, great personalities worry for people in this world who are suffering with birth, old age, disease, and death. Someone may be sick or dying, and if there is somebody who we love we naturally worry about them. We care for them and we feel for them. However, the reality is time moves on. They are going to die. We are going to die. It is the reality of this world. It's just a matter of sooner or later. And the difference between now or 20, 30, 40 years is not that much, but one moment of full consciousness, then a long life wasted. So, the path of devotion is the path that transforms the material world into the spiritual through consciousness. Material world is material world. We can't change it on the external level too much. Whatever government, whatever everything else, still everyone's going to die. We want to make the best we can. It is our duty to make the best possible we can. And the best that can be is to facilitate to people to get out to realize the world within. Socrates was in prison and was told to drink poison hemlock. He said to the person who was giving him poison, "You can't kill me unless you find me." Because he was convinced he was not the body but soul. He wasn't scared. He wasn't worried. But he took all the risk to teach us because he was worried about the others. Isn't that amazing? He wasn't worried about himself dying, but he was worried about the people who did not have realization. Knowing that it was within them, he wanted to help them to understand that. Jesus was crucified. He didn't have to. All he had to do was to leave the town. They told him what was being planned and he knew, but he just walked right into it because he knew that this is what he has to do to establish dharma, religious principle according to God's will. So he may have suffered in one sense, but that suffering was ecstasy because he wasn't suffering for self but was suffering for others. This is self love. In order for there to be harmony, there has to be a common center. And there is only one possible common center, and that is complete whole or God. We may say humanity is common center, but then what about all the little cows who had getting their throat cuts and screaming in agony? That's not real harmony. Nationalism may be good, but we have to go above that too. Because we may have harmonized within our own nation, which itself is very rarely seen. But what about nations outside our own? Are they not our brothers and sisters? They are not unless we see the common origin. The Supreme Lord is the seed giving Father for all the living beings. When we recognize our relationship with God, then we recognize our relationship with every living being and we can actually create harmony. That's the greatest need. There is no solution to worry except finding the peace, the love, and the compassion in ourselves and being instruments of that compassion by connecting that source that harmonizes everything.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you.
Mataji Suman, could you kindly continue, please? Mataji Suman, are you available now?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Making the right choices. The Gita explains that there is a divine nature and a demonic nature within all of us. Humility, charity, knowledge of the self, compassion, morality, and generosity are divine qualities, while greed, lust, envy, anger, arrogance, and selfishness are demonic qualities. Every choice that we make is making one quality stronger and the other weaker. Every time we make an immoral choice, we become more addicted to immorality. while every time that we make a right choice, we progress towards perfection. However, we must ask how this is possible. In a world where there is so much propaganda for selfishness all around us, what is most dangerous is if the cancer cells are seen as the good cells, while the good cells are seen as cancer cells. That is what today's age is about, where true religion is taken to be irreligion, and while irreligion is taken to be religion. The most important thing needed is to find the spiritual world within ourselves, to find that oceanic peace, happiness, love, and compassion within ourselves, and to be instruments of that within the world. If we find people who share the same common center of purifying our hearts, of serving each other, of being kind, compassionate, and forgiving, then that association is like the spiritual world. However, if we become sectarian, then it's not real. If we are really serving the center together, then we are trying to harmonize in the universal way. God has many names, God has many forms, God has been revealed in different ways. Knowledge is so important, and through this knowledge and inner purification, God reveals Himself, gives us light, and gives us hope. Then, individually and collectively, we can be concerned with the real issues, with the eternal issues, and we deal with the temporary situations of this world from that platform of the eternal blissful self. From the spiritual perspective, this is how we rise above all this worry and start living a blissful life of inner fulfillment.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Now we're starting our next and probably last chapter, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Unity in Strength. Mataji Aishani, could you read, please?
Hare Krishna. Unity is strength. United we stand, divided we fall. This sentence is simple, yet so deep. It conveys the critical importance of unity. But how to create that unity? How to create a common center that we agree on in a world of such immense ego, competition, and diversity? This is a great challenge, and because wherever there is unity, there is great power and strength to create a peaceful situation in society. Automobile champion Henry Ford revolutionized the industrial world by creating unity. There were others too making automobiles, but he created the assembly line. It is a simple concept, but it was revolutionary. What is assembly line? Where everybody is just working completely in unity with one another. And that was producing cars so radically fast that he became a multi millionaire and everyone else followed this way. Through unity, he gave great strength to the whole industrial world. When things are unified, they are beautiful. What makes music beautiful? Harmony. And what is harmony? Unity. It's not that the violin is playing one thing and then the flute is playing whatever he wants, and the drums are playing whatever they want, and the guitar is playing whatever he wants. When there is harmony, when all the voices are trying to make one voice, not that I am heart, but we are all heart. When all the instruments are trying to combine unitedly to make one sound, then that harmony creates such beauty, such musical talent. In food, what makes nice taste is someone who knows how to blend spices in a very unified way. For some people, cooking is just let's throw this in and let's throw that in. However, when somebody knows which will complement which spice to make one flavor, then the food is delicious. It is pleasing to the heart and to the taste. Similarly, in architecture, when there is structural construction, every beam is depending on every other beam for its strength. That is unity. There has to be harmony and balance in the design and in the structure. In a machine, if every part of the machine is not working together in harmony with every other part of the machine, there is a breakdown.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Dear
Hare
devotees, if
Krishna.
you haven't read yet today, you can raise your hands now if you would like to read. Rajaseva Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Manji, Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Unify on a higher principle. It is the law of nature, the law of gravity, to push everything down. What goes up must come down. Everything by nature is going in a downward motion. We have to actually fight against this law to find peace, to find sanctity, to find organization, and to find unity in this world. It is a fact. Time disintegrates everything. That is the law of nature. Moreover, in this age of disagreement and duplicity, there are so many different types of egos, and every ego thinks in terms of my own interest, my own purpose. Sociologists and psychologists have called the world today the I society, where everyone is thinking of I, me, and mine. There are so many different interests, so much conflict, and so much tension. For people to be happy, they have to be free from these tensions created by disunity. On the battlefield, every soldier is completely dependent on all of his comrades. When there are thousands of people shooting guns and bombs at you single handedly, what can you do? Your life, your survival is dependent on all the others around you. It is not that you look at your other comrades who are fighting along with you and think, I don't like the color of your skin or I don't like the things you eat. No, you understand that I need you, and you need me or we perish. That is what war is about. In the front lines, everyone is dependent on everyone else. This world is a place where war is always going on. The battle of good and evil, the battle of sin and piety, of religiosity and irreligiosity, of love and sectarian hatred. We need each other. In this world, there are so many chapters of Alcoholics Anonymous, Drugs Anonymous, Gambling Anonymous, and numerous others. Actually, these organizations have been very successful in salvaging people's lives. And what is their power? Their power is two things: having the association of each other and learning together to depend on the power of God that is beyond their own. By unified inspiration of all of us coming together, we can help each other to access a power beyond our own to actually overcome even very great problems. Jesus Christ said, a house that is divided against itself is a house that cannot stand. In fact, Lord Jesus, by his own example, wanted to prove this as his last lesson to his disciples. At the last dinner that they were taking together, Lord Jesus went to each one of his disciples to wash their feet with his own hands and then dry them with his own cloth. The first of them, Peter, said, Master, I can't let you wash my feet. I am your servant. Lord Jesus said, no, you must. I must teach all of you a lesson. If this is how I treat each of you, then how should you treat each other? Then Jesus washed the feet of every one of his followers and dried it with his cloth that he was wearing. A church was having very difficult times. They were just losing members, they were not growing, and everything was just going down. So they approached a very saintly person and said, can you tell us how to build the church up again? This person replied, I cannot tell you how to build up your church, but I can tell you one thing for sure, that the Messiah has appeared as one of the members of your church. That I know for sure. But I can tell you who he is. So when they heard each other, each one of them thought that all the others could be the Messiah. So they overlooked one's faults because, after all, he could be our Savior. They respected each other, they honored each other, they served each other, they loved each other, and the church grew and flourished because there was such internal unity amongst them. However, this unity is difficult because the negative energy and influence is literally terrorizing the world and shackling it to evil qualities. It is so Hare Krishna Ji. It's so easy to find fault with others. No expert person likes to work under somebody. Any slight disagreement and people no longer want to work together. There is no more unified effort. Everyone wants to be an independent master. However, we see in the example of the five Pandava brothers, that even though all were individually very powerful and competent, still they were always together. All of them followed the instructions of the elder brother Yudhishthira. Despite any of the diversities of opinions, they all agreed and united on a higher principle.
Krishna,
Thank you, Mataji.
thank you so much. Subodh Prabhu,
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Oneness in Supreme Father. Uh, whether you read the Gita, the Old Testament, the New Testament, or any other scripture, we find there is one God, and that one God is the father of all living entities, the mother of all living entities. We are all children. This is reality. This is a universal principle. And we show our love for our father by how we treat our brothers and sisters. No matter how many gifts you give to your father and mother, if you punch your brother in the face, are they going to be pleased with your gifts? No. The gifts that you offer them will be meaningful when they are offered with love, and that love is expressed by understanding the heart of the father and the mother. They love all their children, and there is nothing greater to a mother and father than seeing the children having unity, love, and trust amongst each other. We see so much diversity, but how to actually find the oneness in all the diversities in this world? After the World War One, the League of Nations was created, but then there was World War Two. So then United Nations was made, but still there is so much conflict in this world. Although these various social and political efforts are necessary within society to keep order and try to create some unity, essentially it can only really be done on the level of truth, on the spiritual platform. If we are going to see unity in diversity, we have to understand how we are all unified, how we are all one despite all the apparent differences. All living entities are all part and parcel of the Supreme. All are children of the same source. The absolute truth is from whom everything emanates. We are all spiritual. We are all part of God. We are all brothers and sisters. If your sister has disease, you hate your sister, or do you hate the disease? If the disease is there, you hate the disease, but you feel compassion, which is uh, symptom of love for your sister. There are people acting in very crazy, violent, and unethical ways, but deep within their heart is the Atma, the soul, which is pure, which is part of God, which is our brother or sister. In a person who understands the self, there can be no ego, there can be no hatred towards anyone. There can only be love, and towards those who are unfortunate, there is compassion. That is knowledge of the truth. We are all part of God, and when we develop inner awareness of our relationship with the Supreme, then naturally we see every living entity in connection to that relationship. That is the inner unity extending to create unity within the world. We find, according to the scriptures, the greatest power of those who are learned and realized is the power of love, and the power of forgiveness. We take so many little things so seriously. We take all of our differences so seriously because we are not aware of our oneness. Oneness does not mean that we are all just one homogeneous, impersonal substance. Our oneness is in our common relationship with the supreme object of all love or God. To understand that oneness, to realize that oneness can create unity in diversity. The communists tried to create oneness, just one class. However, all over the world they failed in so many ways because you cannot force oneness. There are people who think differently. There are people with different natures, with different inclinations. There is unlimited diversity and variety in this world. We cannot artificially try to make everything one. However, through inner purification we can understand and realize within ourselves how there is oneness underlying in all the variety, and then we can try to cultivate that. The scriptures advise us to cultivate inner awareness of the supreme and understand what God wants to us, wants from wants of us, and to actively and dynamically live in this world, work in this world with the basic foundational experience in our heart.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for joining us today. Mataji Anjali, would you like to read the next?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Act with compassion. There is an inner disunity within all our hearts. The mind is the battlefield. The dualities of life are always competing with one another. From the spiritual platform, while working in this world to do good, we must simultaneously actually realize the art of love, the art of yoga, and be united body, mind, and soul, and with God. Then we can express that inner knowledge, the inner love, the inner compassion in everything we do. Is there anything that is of greater need in the world than that mentality within human beings? Technology is good provided it is in the right hands. If it is in the wrong hands, knowledge and technology could be the most destructive force on Hare Krishna Mataji, kindly scroll on the earth. If it is in the right hands, it can do much good for so many people. So, just creating people who can earn, just creating people who can invent, that is not going to help the world in itself. Unless people become holistic, unless people become united with their own inner spiritual nature and act with dynamic compassion in this world on that basis. There is very instructive story in Aesop's fables. There was a father whose children were always fighting. So he gave them a very nice lesson. He took many sticks, put them together, and tied them up. Then, when they were bound together, he gave them to each son and said, I want to see you break these sticks. And they were trying. They could not break that bunch of sticks. None of the son could break a single stick. Then he untied it and took out one stick at a time, and each of them was easily broken. United we stand, divided we fall. Our strength is in our unity, not only as nations, not only as races, not only as families, but even within religion. And the greater the service we can do to the society, the larger we expand this principle of compassion. There is nationalism, then there is humanitarianism. That means for all the human beings, but that is limited to. The greatest compassion is for every living entity, for the animals and the fish and the birds in the Hare Krishna Mantra. In the sky, to see the unity we have with all of them, even our unity with the trees and the plants. We are all part of God. We can show our love for God by how we respect, how we serve, and how we love each other. It is the greatest necessity to create a very deep form of real unity. The unity of inner compassion, born out of unity between the soul and God, is the greatest strength on earth. On such a fundamental level as marriage, we see so many problems. There is 70% divorce rate within 3 years of marriage in America, and now it is growing all over the world. How to protect from that? In marriage, you may unify on the principle of romance or beauty, but the bodies change. Your attraction to the beauty of a woman or a man does not remain. Moreover, the minds change because two egos will have so many differences. That is why, according to religious principles, you take a vow. So you have to stay together no matter what, because you have made a vow. You have a responsibility to God. You have a responsibility to your children. You have a responsibility to each other. And through that sacrifice of somehow or other tolerating each other and forgiving each other, you actually learn to really love each other much deeper than the love of the glances and the words. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Dear devotees, we have our last story, and it will be the end of the book. Mataji Lakshmi Jaya, would you like to conclude?
Hare Krishna.
Please.
United, united on the excuse me, united on the basis of truth. Same holds true with spiritual organizations too. There were people with whom I was working, but we had nothing in common. In fact, I really did not like them. I could not tolerate them, and they could not tolerate me either. The kind of people that I would never have anything to do with in my previous life. And here I am working hand in hand with them. We didn't get along, but on the basis of spiritual principle, we understood we have so many differences of opinions, differences of ways. We didn't agree on anything except one thing, that the goal of life is to love God. And in order for us to love God, we have to love each other. That person became my very best friend after a couple of years. Such honor, such respect, such spontaneous affection earned through sacrifice. The strength of unity, when it is founded within the heart on the spiritual level, is the greatest power on earth. A power that can heal and a power that can remove tension. Unless we remove the tension within ourselves, how are we going to remove it from other people's lives? We are all inconceivably, simultaneously one and different from God. We are one in quality with God. We are Sachidananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss, and God is Sachidananda. But we are a fragmental particle, and God is the supreme whole. The oneness between the soul and God is in oneness of love, and we are all inconceivably, simultaneously one with one another. We are of the same quality, we are of the same origin, we are all brothers and sisters on the spiritual platform. But we have forgotten that due to ego, envy, and illusion. So there must be a cleansing of these unwanted things so that we could realize the actual oneness despite all the diversity amongst ourselves and be well wishers, humble and forgiving. Love means sacrifice. Love means service. As long as we have an individual, personal, egoistic desire to enjoy, there is going to be conflict. As long as we think, I am the enjoyer and I am the proprietor, that conception will create so much potential conflicts with any other living being, even our own family members. How many family members divorce? And how many family members are fighting in courts over property? The scriptures teach the unifying peace principle to understand that God is the proprietor and enjoyer of everything. and we are all meant to work together for that purpose. So, if we really want to make a significant difference in this world, then we must be united on the basis of truth. The art of loving creates the unity which has unlimited spiritual strength, and that is the greatest need in the world today. Each one of us can make such difference if we become humble, if we develop a service attitude rather than an exploitive attitude, if we develop the broad mind to see the oneness and to learn to love all living beings. What a difference each one of us could make, and what a difference we could make if we are united on that principle. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Yes, we did it. We conclude this book together. Thank you so much, Mataji Lakshmi Jai, for reading, for sharing the screen, and like we were reading today again about how we have to do things together, how we have to try to be united, um, and I definitely feel again and again that we wouldn't have this reading group for such a long time if it wasn't for Mataji Lakshmi Vijay, if it wasn't for Shreyas Prabhu, because yeah, only together as a little group we're managing to keep it going, even though it's once a week, but still, uh, life brings different situations in life and hard times and sickness, and so yes, thanks to you, both of you, Mataji Lakshmi Jai and Shreyas Prabhu, we're continuing doing that, and of course thanks to you all dear devotees who have desire to join us, who have a desire to know Guru Maharaj, to meet him through the stories about him, through his lectures, through his books. I feel very grateful to all of you. And we're just reading now about how it is in the family, and it's so practical. I think each one of us, or most of us, can relate to it. With every word that Guru Maharaj was saying, I was feeling like it's definitely a lesson for me and wonderful reminder for me over and over again that what is real love? It's sacrifice and service. As soon as you feel something, it's not going my way, that's all it shows that I just want to enjoy right now, that I'm not in the mood of service, that I'm in the mood of consuming. So bring myself back to who am I in reality, who should be in the center, and who I need to please the most. So, dear devotees, would you like to share what did you hear today from what you've read? I would love to hear your thoughts, your intake. Mataji Neetu is saying in the chat, just thanking guys. Thank you so much for being here. Mataji Anjali, you have something to share?
Hare Krishna Mataji, we were talking about keeping something with us in our to give someone if he's hungry, or like prasad we give someone. I have a very negative experience. I don't know I should share it, but I really want to share it. Like it was in Pune, like a girl. There's time na Mataji. Hi Krishna Mataji.
Yes, yes, we have time. Please go ahead.
There was one girl, like my daughter's friend. She came to our house. She was to take admission in that college in Pune. And so, as she was going to her college, I cooked two chapatis for her, and I gave her if you're hungry in college, you can have it. Then I went along with her to drop her to college. But what happened in college, she quickly got freed, and we were both were to come back home. Next day, she was to go. Like we came out on the bus stop, a beggar was sitting. So the girl asked me, Auntie, should I give that chapati to him? It's hot, like he'll have, and I can have at home. I said, yes, give it to him. We gave that chapatis to that man. After eating two bites, he started shouting, "These girls have poisoned me, poisoned me. They have given." The girl got so scared, she immediately took the chapatis and she put one bite in her mouth and said, Mathli, her name is Mathli, and she said, "Oh, see, I am also eating. It is not poison. Why you are making?" And people crowded, and a policeman came and he said, "You quickly give money or you come along with me to police station." And we got so scared. And how can money save her if he is poisoned? Like, we should take him to hospital then. Then the policeman in Marathi, because we didn't know Marathi at that time, he said, "You quickly give money or you come with us to police station." And we both got so scared. We quickly rushed. A bus came in front and we were not knowing where the bus is going. We just rided this bus and we ran out. Until that day, Mataji, I'm so scared of giving anything to eat to anyone. I'll ask 10 times that person, if you want, take it, like it is homemade. If you want, take. But inside, I'm really very scared to give anything to eat to someone. Like here in, like now I'm in California for a few days. My daughter always telling me, "Hey, mama, please don't give anything to eat to anyone." So really, like, I don't know how to come out of that, but I'm really very scared. Like,
Mm.
Hare
No, I'm
Krishna.
sorry. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sorry you had such experience. Yeah, I never heard similar story before. I mean, I would know that like homeless people often wouldn't want, to accept something, but that they were so against, and saying that it was poison. This is something very unusual experience, and but if you knew deep inside your heart that it is, you did it out of, compassion and love, and you knew for sure that it wasn't um, poison, then there is Krishna who protects us, right? We just know what we are doing, and even if somebody is not happy with us, I think this gives us the strength to still remain calm, peaceful, and satisfied. So, of course, I was not in this situation, and I'm not here to judge. Um, but I hope, Krishna will give you strength to overcome fear and continue acting um, in the mode of compassion. Thank you so much. I'm talking with my mic off. Anybody else, the devotees, wish to share something? Looks like no.
Hare Krishna Maji.
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead. Yes, Rajsa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Yeah, thank you, devotees, for like for this session. Actually, so actually we all read together, and this is one kind of unity which we can show towards our Guru Maharaj also. Like we are coming together and join. Even though I was I hope last 2 3 weeks I couldn't join due to some other services and everything. So I just desire that I should somehow other join today. So somehow other by blessings of all devotees and your all inspiration I could join. So I was so happy that at least we could read through that unity part where it Maharaj has explained it very nicely through different examples, like when playing different musical instruments, how everything should synchronize in such a way that ultimately that good music should come. It's not like my sound will come or your sound should come. So together we should serve and love and cooperate each other. So even Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in like in one time, like your love for me can be shown by how you cooperate with each other after I leave my body, like that. Prabhupada also has instructed. So Maharaj used to sometimes tell this point. So I was just thinking about all these points and how Maharaj has beautifully depicted about unity in different aspects, giving different examples of like machine examples and many. See, like it's that book evolve itself is a great wisdom I can understand. And even though that book was there for many years with me, but I didn't read it. But only by the blessings and association of all these devotees, by their mercy, I could just go through those books. And I'm eternally grateful to all devotees for including me, and especially to Anadi Leela Mataji, Lakshmi Vijay Mataji, Shreyas Prabhu, who are hosting and going on this journey. Thank you, Mataji. So hoping to be always able to join whenever, like any sometimes due to some emergency cases, like some services I'm not able to join, but I really miss the association of devotees. And kindly bless me so that I should be able to join enthusiastically and be a part of this wonderful sangha. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Madam.
Krishna. We definitely treasure your association, Rajasana Prabhu. Thank you so much for all your um, endeavors to be here. Hare Krishna. Mataji Puja.
Mataji Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Uh, Mataji, the point which Guru Maharaj was saying, Radhanath Swami Maharaj warning, which was like we all should carry prasad. So once I was discussing with one of the temple Mataji senior, so we were discussing about how she tried to give Krishna to everyone. So in India, we have this postman services over here generally. Till date, it is very nicely being carried out. So she used to say that from Jagannath Puri, we all know how much value is of Jagannath Mahaprasad. So she generally keep the ordering Jagannath Puri's khaja. So whenever if someone comes to deliver something, or some maid is coming or something like that, so she will daily give some quantity of that khaja to that person, and with that she will give some maha water, mahajal also. So that compassionate was I was really shocked to like giving directly khaja prasad, which we actually store in our refrigerator for months and months for ourselves to eat. And at least on the Ekadashi, after breaking the Ekadashi fast and all. So she was very compassionate to give it to the everyone whoever comes at her home to give this and with a water, drink, and that is how she tried to give Krishna to others. So I was hearing that Mataji's talk. When she was saying that she now fear to give, but it is okay with your sincere desire. I think Krishna will definitely give the right person the right prasad at the right time whenever possible. We just have to be we have to keep trying like that Mataji who does. Thank you. Just
Hare
wanted
Krishna.
to.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing stories. It's always so encouraging. And we can try, all together as a team throughout this week now, especially. It's such an auspicious day is coming. Radhashtami, so Srimati Radharani will be very pleased if we can give, try to share their mercy uh, to other people. So let's try to do it throughout this week, and then maybe we can share next time with me. How did it go? Maybe you had new ideas, your experiences. Hare Krishna. Sundarananda Prabhu, looks like you're ready to share something too.
Hi, Krishna. No, I just wanted to come on be here. That's all. Yeah, thank you. I was just thinking about the story that Mataji said about giving prasad and having the turn of events. Yeah, I guess what can be done, right? We just like I was remembering also now that Maharaj, I think he was in New Vrindavan, and then he was milking the cows, as we know. And once I think he said like a young calf or probably like a newer one, was very frisky, so it kicked him just as he was milking the cows. And in Maharaj recounts, he says, I was thinking, oh Krishna, what did I do? I'm just here in New Vrindavan milking the cows. um why should this happen? So he was just thinking that way. And he said that after some time everything changed. The whole new and down situation, as we know, has a colorful history. So everything changed, and he was now again free to go for his college preaching and everything else that he wanted to do. So yeah, sometimes I guess things come to a breaking point, and then beyond that, I think is the highway opens up for us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing Sundarananda Prabhu. It also reminds me of like when I went to Russia Russia is a country I was born in. Um, I went there one time and I joined devotees for Harinama, and I've seen such a difference there, doing Harinama there in the streets and doing here in America. If here, most of the people are so welcome, they're like, everybody likes it. Most of the people take prashadam from you, it's all like so easygoing. But in Russia, opposite. In Russia, everybody in the street is angry, and they don't really want to see you, dressed in all of this Vaishnava clothing. They don't want to see you, like what are you singing? What is like? They would tell you so many bad things. They would like throw things at you. They would come and hit you. They want to break your instruments. So much anger, that people are really not ready to. Not everybody, of course, but so many. Like I've seen it in person. So I see that in situations like this, when we're trying to do something and we don't really feel this reciprocation, or maybe something that we, wished to see, that people would say, yes, thank you so much for your prashadam. Yes, thank you so much for your book. Thank you for, your singing and so on. I feel like this is also in a way another lesson from Krishna for us not to feel proud about what we are doing, and for us to like gain another quality of um, I don't know even which quality right now. Maybe you can add to it, but I've seen that yeah, it's even while serving doesn't mean it's going to be always easy, but our main goal is to continue doing what our guru tells us to do, what Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas tell us to do. We have to continue despite all the difficulties that come our way. And yeah, sometimes it could be discouraging, but if we keep our goal in mind, I guess we can overcome even these difficult times by the mercy of Krishna and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Krishna. Yeah, dear devotees, today we stayed so much longer. If you have nothing else to add, shall we conclude here and continue preparing for Adashtami? Yes, I have to travel to Alacho tomorrow. Not I have to, that's what I'm planning to do. Alacho is a town 3 hours away from where I live. It's in Florida. There is a beautiful temple, beautiful deities, and the altar is decorated so nicely every time. It's so inspiring to me. So I'm looking forward to see Srimati Radharani dressed beautifully in her new outfit there, and hopefully I can also be of some service to her and to devotees. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की
Jai,
जय, गुरु
Yes.
महाराज की
Jai,
जय।
Jai.
A wonderful
Thank you, devotees.
Dashami, dear devotees. I look forward to see you next week on Friday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare